Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी भक्ति प्रदेवी सत्यवत्साय नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य
Jayapataka, Vyasa Puja, Sankalpa. Om Govinda Govinda Govinda. Om Tat Sat. Adya Brahmana Dvitiya Parathe. Shri Sweta Varaha Kalpe. Vaivasvata Manvantare. Kali Paramam Parayam Shara Pasyanti Suraya. Divi Vachakshuradaram. Tadvik Prashami Panyavo Jagravagam Shasamindare. Vishnayat Samaramataram. Om Nakarmananda Prajayadanena. Shanti. Om Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Priprojagacharya Sutarasati Shishman. His Divine Grace Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. Jayapataka ki. Srila Jayapataka Vyasa Puja Maha Mahotsava ki. Srila Jayapataka ki. Jai Nitai Gaur Premananda.
कृपा दिया करो दासे बिना पेखा
Now, I request His Grace Kala Prabhu to kindly say a few words and inspire all the disciples of Srila Jayapataka.
Who can't deny that from a
and Bengali Vyasa book, and also 2 magazines been released, one in English language, one
Hare Krishna.
Kripashinduhaivaja patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavesva namo.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestha Sindhu Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prasad. So I today this auspicious occasion, it is not possible for me to glorify you.
So it is with great pleasure that I am able to come here today on this very auspicious day of my very dear godbrother, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj's Vyasa Puja celebration. I thought that I would just speak briefly a few points. First of all, about how I first met him. As you know, Srila Jayapataka Maharaj joined ISKCON in San Francisco. So I was in that temple at the time when he first arrived. I think it may have been on a Friday, Thursday or a Friday, because I recall that we were about to celebrate Rath Yatra in San Francisco. This was 1968. And in those days, very few devotees would shave their heads. Maybe only 3 or 4 or 5 devotees in all of ISKCON had a shaved head. But as soon as he came to the temple and he heard that there was a big festival, he immediately shaved his head. And I was very struck by this. But what struck me even more was that on Saturday or Sunday, when the Rath Yatra took place, there he was in the front of the Rath cart, and he was personally the one who pulled the cart the whole distance. I think that he and Jayananda Prabhu together took the cart and they pulled the whole time. So I remember this very striking image of seeing him with a freshly shaved head. At that time he was very thin, And, with very fixed determination, pulling Lord Jagannath for many miles down the streets of San Francisco through the park, and then the next morning he disappeared. Where did he go? He went and flew immediately. He had found out that Srila Prabhupada was in Montreal, Canada, and he immediately took a plane and went to Montreal to see Prabhupada. So this was also very unusual because, as you know, anyone who joins the movement, usually they cannot immediately see the spiritual master. But not only did he go to see Srila Prabhupada, but we received a phone call informing us that as soon as he arrived, Prabhupada made him sit down with him and take prasadam with him. So, all of these things prove and demonstrate that he is not an ordinary person, because these events don't take place in the life of an ordinary person. It means that in previous times, he was already engaged in so many devotional activities for the Supreme Lord, and so at the proper time, when Lord Chaitanya desired Prabhupada came to the West, then immediately he took up Krishna consciousness exactly where he had left in his previous life. Then we heard that he got the name Jayapataka Das, which is the flag of victory. And how it was a flag of victory, gradually we have seen over the years. He became the temple president in Montreal, and then he came to India. He wanted to go to India, and Prabhupada sent him there. Perhaps I think Prabhupada wanted someone to be in India with the only other Western devotee at that time, Achyutananda Swami. So Jayapataka Maharaj came to Calcutta and began to preach with Achyutananda Swami at that time, and he immediately began to learn Bengali. Actually, I recall that he came, what month was that? July of 1970? July of 1970. So in August of 70 or 69? 70. So in August of 1970, Srila Prabhupada decided to come to India with a group of sannyasis and myself. At that time I was not a sannyasi. And Madhavisa, who led the kirtan this morning, I think it was him, I heard from my room. He was a sannyasi at that time, so the roles had become reversed. And he was also on the party, and we stopped in Japan, and I will just mention that was a time when we also observed Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja. At that time we did not know that this is how you observe Vyasa Puja. Prabhupada came into the small little room that was a temple in Tokyo, and he sat down and he said, now you can observe Vyasa Puja. So we said, well, we're not sure what to do. So Prabhupada said, well, where are the pushpa? So I didn't know what pushpa meant. I thought that Prabhupada said, where is the pushpanya rice? So I immediately said, we don't have any of that. And I rushed into the kitchen. I said, cook pushpanya rice immediately. And then Prabhupada said, where is the arti paraphernalia? We said, we don't have any. We don't have anything. But Prabhupada became so angry that he said, this is not Vyasa Puja. He got out and walked right out of the temple. So that evening he called us and he said, this is how you observe it, and just as you are doing, even nicely how you learned everything, because this is exactly how Prabhupada wanted that the representative of Srila Vyasa in disciplic succession should be worshipped. So the next day we performed it. Anyway, we came on to Calcutta, and we were preaching together with Jayapataka Maharaj, Madhavisa also. At that time, Prabhupada gave Madhavisa the name, he gave him the title, Sankirtan Samrat. I think you have seen this morning why Prabhupada gave him that name, Samrat. So we were preaching here in Calcutta, and of course, Jayapataka Maharaj took a very leading role. He became the temple president of Calcutta, and he and I had many pastimes together. I was his GBC man. You can imagine what it was like. For him, not for me, it was difficult enough for him, but he tolerated. And even others also tolerated. Our Yadubara and Vishaka, they were also there at that time in the Calcutta temple. So after a while, we got some land here in Mayapur, and Jayapataka Maharaj began to come here and to help develop the Mayapur project. So that is a few memories from the back in the old times. I see that by the activities which Jayapataka Maharaj has performed, that really Prabhupada once wrote that my Guru Maharaj has sent all of you to assist me. So I see practically how that is certainly true in the case of my dear godbrother. I feel that he has a very wonderful sense of history. He knows what the previous acharyas have desired. Just as, for example, Lord Nityananda Prabhu described a grand temple to be built here in Mayapur. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur described the parikrama, Navadvip parikrama, which Nityananda Prabhu took Jiva Goswami on. And he also developed the Namhat preaching. And I see how Jayapataka Maharaj has placed himself very instrumentally in the hands of the previous acharyas to be able to fulfill all of these very important visions which they had. Actually, it's not by chance. Sometimes people say, well, it's just someone's good luck that they joined the movement at the right time or something of this type. But I don't think it is a case like that. I think that it is a case that some people have a sense of wanting to serve the desires of the spiritual master and the previous acharyas. And they are utilized by Guru and Krishna in wonderful ways. Just how devoted Jayapataka Maharaj is to Srila Prabhupada and how dependent he is was demonstrated to me when he received that very unfortunate attack in Spain. I came to visit him in his hospital room. I think our Bangalore president was there. Is he here now? Madhu Pandit was there also. So, Jayapataka Maharaj was lying in the hospital bed, and this was about 3 or 4 days after the wound that he had received. And he said to me at that time, he said, Swami Krishna Maharaj, I was wondering if you could chant on a Brahmin thread, because I want to get the thread from someone who is connected to having received it from Prabhupada. Because his thread had been cut, because it was so encased with blood, they cut it off. But he didn't just take another thread and put it on and begin chanting Gayatri. But not until he could get the thread which was chanted on and connected to Prabhupada did he agree to take another thread. I thought this it has always remained in my mind how totally dependent and attached he is to Srila Prabhupada. And it was seen in even in a simple act like this, because ordinarily anyone might have just said, well, the other thread is gone, and put on another thread and begun chanting. But he didn't do that, because he's so thoughtful. And that thoughtfulness is seen by everyone, especially I think his godbrothers appreciate how thoughtful he is. Sometimes he's so thoughtful that it takes him many minutes even to respond. If we ask him a question, he'll sit there, but it's not as if he thinks very deeply. And those deep thoughts are reflected, for example, in our GBC meetings. So many of ISKCON's legislation, the laws of ISKCON which govern our society, are actually proposals which he has put forward. And sometimes I am astounded by it, how he can be so thoughtful about how the movement is governed. But again, it is because of the direction that he received from Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada told him that he told Jayapataka Maharaj and a few of us here in Mayapur that we should study the big religions and institutions of the world and model our governing of ISKCON after them. So he's always a very strong defender and protector of ISKCON, not only by the legislation which he introduces in our body at the GBC, but by his preaching. His preaching is so wonderful. When I was here a few years ago, it was a Janmashtami day. I don't remember, maybe 5 years ago. And I was sitting here, and we were expecting Jayapataka Maharaj to come. And he came. He came at about 11 o'clock in the morning, because he had come from Calcutta, where he had given a Janmashtami lecture. Then he came here, gave a long lecture. He performed a very nice initiation ceremony, and then drove back to Calcutta and flew to Madras and did a large preaching pandal that night in Madras. So, you know, in one day, preaching in 3 cities, just like I know myself, I was just here, and I was, you know, very attached to just staying in Mayapur and chanting 64 rounds. I think Narendra and I were doing a Dandavat Parikrama around the temple room. But he was absorbed in preaching. And we've always seen how absorbed he is in preaching. When we go on the Parikrama, when we hear about his international schedule, he's tirelessly preaching, to the point where I think that practically there's nobody who equals the strength and vigor in which he preaches in all of ISKCON. I honestly can say that. I don't think anyone has so much energy to preach and show so much enthusiasm to preaching as he personally does. So on this day, I am requesting him that I always think of him. I feel protected by him because he is such a strong pillar in our ISKCON society. So I request him that he should always kindly look after my well-being. All of his disciples, I also pray to all of you that you be very kind. I feel you're all very advanced souls, and I pray for your protection and kindness upon me as well. So I thank you very much for allowing me to come here today. I hope that you will forgive me if I go as quickly as I came, because I'm in the middle of writing and I don't want to lose all the thoughts that I had. So I thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Just want to take this opportunity to say a few words of gratitude and appreciation to all my godbrothers for all the tolerance that they have had in tolerating all my offenses or harsh or unconscious activities. Actually, they've been always so kind to give me a good association, and by nature I'm a bit stubborn, so sometimes if I'm doing something, it's hard for me to just change. But still, they're always very merciful, and they're always reminding me of Srila Prabhupada in so many ways. All the disciples can see how wonderful this Krishna conscious family is, where everyone is working together to serve His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada mentioned that he went to the West, and that if anyone else had gone alone like that, they probably would have fallen down, they wouldn't have made it. So Prabhupada was so kind for our protection, he gave us this society, this spiritual family. I'm especially very grateful for His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj. For so many years has off and on been giving me very valuable association. And he's a pillar in Krishna consciousness. I'm very grateful for Bhakti Chula Swami Maharaj, and Subhag Maharaj, Janani Bas, Pankajangri, Bhakti Vidya Purna Maharaj, and all the other God Brothers Association. Actually, we were trying to do something for Srila Prabhupada, but it's ludicrous if anyone thinks they can do it alone. Actually, the only way we can do something is if unitedly we work together to do something. And so the fact that they're tolerating all my bad qualities and still working with me is their unlimited ocean of good qualities that they have. And I hope that they will forgive not only myself, but my disciples in case, or me, for any offense made by my disciples, who in their enthusiasm or ignorance sometimes also make mistakes. So all glories to the disciples of His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki.
So to get free from the entanglements of this material world is a very difficult process. But if one is fortunate enough, by the mercy of Krishna, Krishna will give
Disciples of Jayapataka who are holding responsible services. So to begin with, I request His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj to offer this.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami.
Dear Srila Jayapataka, please accept my most fallen obeisances to your lotus feet. Actually, because of being covered with so much ignorance and dull consciousness, it's not possible for me to see or recognize any of your wonderful spiritual effulgent qualities. I have had so much of physical association with you, but due to my unfortunate fallen situation, I am that Srila
Jayapataka Swami. Dear Srila Jayapataka, please accept my most humble obeisances at your lotus feet on the most auspicious day of your divine appearance. All glories to your divine grace. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, who ordered you to expand the preaching.
Another small announcement before that. Radhika Raman Das from ISKCON Madras to make their offering from the temple
an amount of rupees 23,000. Vijay Giri Govardhan Dharidas, Dr. Vijay Giri Govardhan Dharidas, rupees 10,000. ISKCON Tirupati Development Committee, rupees 10,000. And ISKCON Tirupati Life Membership Department.
so sincerely executed the mantra. You ask this Bhagavad to remove his offenses. He knows the
We're going to do Arati. This will be the last thing, right? Last then we'll have speaking. I have to speak 5 minutes. Speaking now, speaking now, half then I'll walk with it? Oh, right. Oh, for future. Today. You're going to inaugurate these, you're going to start pulling it down. Quickly. We'll speak for 5 minutes. With 5 minutes, then we go on Parikrama. 3 minutes go on to the temple. Prabhupada will darshan done, then come back. How many times? One time. তাহলে আমি মায়াপুর থেকে ডাকি দিই।
First we request His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj to give the introduction. What his plans and programs are for the Ratha, and the other people will speak on this occasion.
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाभूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषे पाठ्यदेवस्तारे. In fact, because we are now thinking how to make Prabhupada more popular. More popular means how many people will get chance to know Srila Prabhupada. By knowing Srila Prabhupada, people can become more Krishna conscious. We have to take advantage of this centennial celebration of Srila Prabhupada. Then after Aratiks, we will break the coconut here. Then we shall take Ratham title. He gave this plant last year when I went to Hyderabad Rath Yatra, but it was very difficult to build it. But by the help of Ganga Prabhu, he built this Rath. Knowledge, His Grace Naresa Prabhu is backing us to set up the whole program. So I would like to thank all the workers. So I would like to thank all of them for their inspiration. Now I request for
West Bengal, Mayapur. This is some blessing on this sacred occasion. United Maharaj is all welcome.
Swayam Rupa Padamaitam Dadati Swapadam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Conquered the whole thing. I think that was in 1976. And we have seen very easily, within a very short time, we'll be able to conquer Bengal, fulfilling Srila Prabhupada's desire. Bengal, Assam, Orissa, and every consciousness is opposed to that stationary situation. It's always moving. Krishna consciousness is continuously moving. Srila Prabhupada!
Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nam Namaste Saraswati Guruvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Navani Vashyatva. So today is a very special occasion. We can see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire. Every town and village, everybody will be chanting Lord Chaitanya's name. Naturally, Lord Chaitanya means his associates also, arranged by his associates and those who have got his mercy. As we see here today, just few minutes ago we heard Bhakti Maharaj told about Jayapataka Maharaj. His name signifies Jayapataka. You can see joy means victory. Name is also joy there. Joy means victory. And actually it applies to Krishna best. Naturally those who are devotees of Krishna, they will also have this. So Prabhupada gave his name to his disciple, which is very significant. Each divine devotee gives divine his disciple name. And he also gave, who is leading this, Bhakti Purushottam Swami. Our ultimate goal is Bhakti. Begins with Bhakti, ends with Bhakti. Middle also Bhakti. And Purushottama, that is also name of the Lord. He is a Purusha. Only Purusha is Lord. Sometimes we are also called Purusha. But really he is the Purushottama. Actually he is not that. He is Purushottam, Bhakti Purushottam Swami. First his name was Das, most probably. Most probably, yes. So Maharaj has given particular person assignment this. He is leading this. I am sure he will be very successful. He is right. I sometimes go with them very often. This calling of Bhakta, what God said, or Chuta, is happening. Sometimes you have got some confusion.
Counterbalance, counterbalance.
Srila Prabhupada ki!
Yes, sir. Srila Prabhupada ki!
Yeah.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. His Divine Grace to the Abhay Charan, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada was so humble that he never promoted or allowed his disciples to pursue biography about him after he left. Only we could call him Thakur after he left. He always put the institution, put ISKCON in the forefront. So in many places, people don't know much about Srila Prabhupada. ISKCON, they have different pronunciation, but somehow they know about ISKCON, but many people don't know about Abhay Charan Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Now that the centennial of Srila Prabhupada is coming in 1996, which is only a short 3 years away. 2 years program, quite a bit. We hope that he will fully dedicate himself to this yajna up until the centennial and see that the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Sama Veda or something coming out is so sweet that everyone is immediately tomorrow to the things and book distribution and festivals and all aspects of preaching and also the efficient management. I want to take this opportunity to, before Srila Prabhupada in 1970 here to India for the first, when Prabhupada first started his preaching effort in India. And so now it's a historical moment that Srila Prabhupada's centennial celebration is being inaugurated. He's also here. So we request that this auspicious occasion, he bless us with some words.
Namo Yavasesa Sunnivari Prativiteya Tejato Nagarigram Sabracha Pracha Hoide. I can't say.
Swami Maharaj to speak, to give a small and kind of on this Padayatra program.
Mataji, please come out to this boat.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Stand here. Hey, wait. Hey, slow करो उसको मतलब करो. चलो ओवर Wait.
धक्का वाले का पकड़ना बहुत दूर का
Yeah.
Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and his Gaur Ganadhar deities that he worshipped, which you can see from the southern side. Also, there's the Bhajan Kuti of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji on the northern side over here. There's a Samadhi of Krishnadas Babaji, personal secretary to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And there's the house where Bhaktivinoda Thakur resided. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was working as an ICS officer the British time. There are few Indians who were in that cater. And he was the first administrator in Jagannath Puri. And then he was transferred over here because he wanted to be transferred here, because he wanted to do research to find the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he got transferred to Nadia district. So from here, every day he'd go to do his service as a district magistrate. He'd go from here to Krishnagar every morning by horse and buggy.
Haribol, Prabhu. You can go check.
Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga.
सामने देखो कैमरा मान दे एयरपोर्ट है
Ribo. Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath. Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath.
क्या पढ़ रहा है? हे, उठाओ।
Who is Urvasi? Urvasi is Uttamasla's wife.
Rama Krishna, Hare Hare.